Okay, welcome back to Cool Clubs Reviews. Mark, you've got it in your hand. This is the Apex Pro Series, and it's the Pro model. So
right.
It's the hollow body.
Yeah, this is when they get into a little more game improvement, obviously. It's hollow, so it's a little more forgiving. Everything they've done to this one is obviously just set it aside from the other two. So the blade is really a blade. If you look at the sole configuration of the blade, it's relatively sharp. It's got a little bit cambering, but not much, and pretty narrow. The CB is a little bit more width in the sole. It's got a little more leading edge taken off, and then this one's obviously quite a bit wider, although it's not wide by any means. It's almost close to where the Apex would be.
Yep.
Obviously shorter heel to toe.
Yep.
Than an Apex, but still looks really good and really traditional. The top line that's a little thicker, but not much.
And without ruining Callaway's story, this is not the Apex replacement.
No, it's not.
Coming maybe soon is going to be something in that line. This is purely, they're aiming this as a higher flighted, but still for the better player. They're going down that road. Having said that, stay tuned, watch the next episode. We have done the 80-mile-an-hour test on it because it's the one that might
It's not bad, really.
Right.
I mean, it's certainly something that could be played at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the wider sole, we thought that might be more appropriate.
Right.
And with the wider sole, we also thought we might see some differences here in that 90-mile-an-hour test. And we do see what you kind of tend to see with some of these game improvement irons. The dispersion graph is split a little. The long ones are longer and the short ones are kind of shorter.
Yep.
Just on the low in the face stuff. But we picked up a couple of yards. So MB2 Pro, we've got 3 yards more. Tour performance is a little lower, definitely because of that inconsistency.
It's because of the spring effect, right? So anytime you take a solid club, which is what the MB and the CB are, there's no face deflection, so to speak. That's pretty solid. I mean, this is a hollow club, so you start getting a little bit of that spring effect in it, and you do get that. You're going to get some hotter spots and some other things, so it will hurt the tour frames a little bit.
Yeah.
In this case, not much. I mean, it's just minor, but
we're still in
it's
the
obviously
fours.
not as consistent.
Yeah.
Dead center.
And we got our stopping power is still in the 4s, which we know is good.
Yep.
And spin launch. Now that's getting on the borderline now of mid-low
right.
relative to these 90-mile-an-hours, and we've got much less 90-mile-an-hour test data than we have 80. But it's doing exactly what it says on the tin.
Yep.
It's blending with the other two. It's a little longer. It's a little less consistent because of the face, but you're going to get away with a lot more with the sole design and the flight out of the long irons.
Certainly, you could be a 15 handicap or 14, and be a decent ball striker as a 14. Obviously, there's a great putter as a 14. This is definitely, and it's not short either, right? As a matter of fact, none of them are, which is surprising. As the blades go, it's one of the longer blades all the way through the set.
This one gets it up there, and it does. I mean, that would be what you'd want in that top end. Have a little more spice out of the 4 and the 5 iron, and then maybe put CB in if you're playing well.
Yeah, I could certainly see probably the most common one for like the better amateur is going to be blending the CVs and this.
Yes.
Whereas the tour players, you're probably going to see a little bit more blending the MBs and the CVs.
100%.
And that's really the difference.
Yeah.
And that all makes sense because the soles get wider, it gets a little more forgiving. It makes sense. And I think the tour players are probably going to lean towards these two primarily. This might show up as a 4 iron or a 3 iron or something.